already sent me that.
All right, let's broach the controversial topic of vaccines and perhaps
Oh God, this is gonna be stupid.
their link or not linked to autism. Now, as some of you guys may notice, Robert F. Kennedy was named head of HHS, so he oversees a lot of these agencies, include the CDC. And a Dr. Dave Weldon has been nominated to take over the role of head of the CDC. Now, Dr. Weldon is a former congressman from Florida, and he has actually expressed concerns over the possible links of vaccines and autism.
That guy is a fucking retard. There's no link between vaccines and autism.
Pointing to the adjuvant thimerosal, one of the mercury-containing compounds, is perhaps being contributory to this. So he is already seen as a quote-unquote vaccine skeptic and will be heading the CDC. So now they're planning on doing a study, and I asked people, if they do a study or series of studies, will you be confident to believe the results of the studies? And most people said yes, some people said no, and some people said it depends if it matches my already held beliefs. And I will say that, with full transparency, I'm not an immunologist, I'm not a vaccinologist, I am not an expert in vaccines. I do have an autistic child who was vaccinated. But if you ask me, do vaccines cause autism? And what I will tell you is, I don't know. I just simply don't. I think likely this is a problem that is, multifactorial. Some people say we're just better at screening for that.
If your kid has any mental deficiencies, it's because of your fucked up troglodyte genes. Like, again, this guy is trying to convince people to eat nothing but fucking red meat. But no, if your kid has any cognitive deficits, it's because of your fucked up genes, not vaccines.
And undoubtedly some of that's true. Maybe some of that increase, in incident can be attributed to some of that. There are likely a number of factors that contribute to it. Could it be vaccines? Perhaps. I'm certainly, given the track records of these pharmaceutical companies, to include, companies like Pfizer, which makes vaccines, they have been convicted of fraud multiple times. So, their history is a little bit skeptical. We see these companies have all paid billions of dollars to fine for literally lying to us. And so you have that, right? There are also studies that show, like, for instance, diabetes. If a mom is diabetic, the odds of her child having autism go up 4 or 5-fold, 400 or 500% increase in likelihood. So likely it's a combination of things, and it could be the fact that, some of the people that are saying, well, we've already tested the vaccines and they don't cause autism. The criticisms will say, we didn't do a true placebo, comparison test, whereas to say, instead of giving vaccine plus all the, extra ingredients versus saline, we just did, take out the live vaccine and just keep the extra ingredients in both of them. And maybe it is the extra ingredients. Maybe it's the aluminum, maybe it's the mercury, maybe it's something else that's related to this. Maybe it's the cumulative effect of lots of them. Maybe it's one, but not another one. So it's a hard question to answer. I am fairly confident that given, RFK's leadership at HHS, assuming Dr. Weldon gets in as head of the CDC, they will design a transparent team that will hopefully be free of conflict of interest and will do, the studies that probably need to be done. And hopefully they can put some people's minds at ease, or at least show that the true risks are. Now, what I am not a fan of is mandating. I said the same stuff around the COVID stuff. I thought it's ridiculous to mandate these things on anybody. So people should be fully informed. So we need really good, transparent, informed consent with real, true, clear data. And we need ask me what you should feed children or what you should feed your kid. And one thing I will certainly say is what you shouldn't feed your kids is a vegan diet. That is potential for disastrous outcomes.
Yeah, sure. You're telling me, buddy.
If we look at this study here comparing mammalian weaning times, all...
What does this have to do with veganism?
Mammals consume breast milk to start with, and then they stop at some point. And their growth and their brain size is dependent upon the diet that they, uptake after weaning, And so that there's certain predictions that are made based on modeling with different animals, and they can see that certain animals that are herbivores have certain brain size and certain weaning periods, whereas carnivorous animals have another pattern. Where do humans fall on that model? They fall clearly right in the middle.
What is this? What is this from? Predicted weaning in humans. Carnivore, what?
The carnivorous pattern. So it's very important for us to have animal fats and proteins and so on and so forth for early development for children.
Provides absolutely no evidence for that whatsoever.
Certainly, I don't necessarily say you have to have your kids be carnivorous completely, but they do need to be eating lots of meat, animal fats, and
where's the evidence? Oh, you don't have any, just claims.
So on and so forth. We know that places where that is not done.
Dude, like, he has a shirt with a jacked cow. What do cows eat, dipshit? What? Oh my god.
There's high rates of stunting, high rates of...
The cow on your shirt looks really jacked. What's the cow eating? What a dumbass.
To developmental issues, vegan children often are smaller. They often delayed in a number of ways, so we don't want to do that. Now, some people will point to this position paper that the American Academy of Dietetics and Nutritionists put out several years ago, saying that a vegan diet is safe and appropriate for all stages and all ages, including infants. Here's a problem with that study. Well, if we look at who the authors were, all three of the authors were...
So these were people making the actual position statement of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. They weren't actually involved in the research of the studies themselves, you idiot.
Die-hard vegans, They were,
okay, so this guy can't even read.
They wrote vegan cookbooks, were advocates, Seventh-day Adventist church members, and so on and so forth, And the sad thing is one of those vegans is actually dead, died at a young age of, we don't know what, I think many people speculate it was cancer. And
so how, I know for a fact, there's at least 3 people who were heavily involved in the carnivore community who have died of cancer. We don't mention them anymore. No, we don't talk about that. We don't have a discussion about, I wonder if the carnivore diet contributed to it. No. Some random vegan who's clearly elderly, that guy has to be at least 60. Oh, he died? I don't know of what, but it definitely had something to do with veganism. Oh, he was hit by a car? Oh, well, maybe he would have survived the car crash if he ate meat. Yeah, right. Bro, once this guy drops dead of a heart attack or stroke, believe me, I'm gonna make a big-ass fucking video saying, I fucking told you so, all you carnivore dumbasses, what's your cope excuse? Like, this guy looks up some random dude who he doesn't even fucking know, doesn't even know why he died. Oh, it was definitely because of the vegan diet. Oh, what's your excuse now, carnivore? Shawn Baker just dropped dead of a heart attack. Oh, he didn't have diabetes, he exercised, he ate your stupid fucking diet. Oh, well, how did he die? Oh, must have been a carnivore diet, right? Yeah, once this guy croaks, big I told you so video. Don't.
So when you have vegans who are ethically compromised, writing position papers,
right, vegans are ethically compromised. The people who don't murder animals.
Representing an entire academy, and this is a problem. A lot of the nutrition organizations have been overrepresented by...
By the way, this is the guy who says, oh, well, obviously the carnivore diet's good for you. I read some guy's post on Facebook saying, he's carnivore and he feels good.
Seventh-day Adventists and vegans. Since the very beginning, remember the very beginning of nutrition in America. In 1917, Elena Cooper founded the American Dietetics Association as a Seventh-day Adventist who was a religious person that was opposed to basically red meat. So we have this bias built in. So your kids should be consuming lots of fat. And as I mentioned about brain development in that first section here, How do we get around that today? Because obviously their kids are not eating meat. Well, what we do is we turn a lot of our food into ultra-processed powders, and that changes the energy availability so that we can get more energy out of it, so that we can still grow, to a degree. But it's a second choice. It is not optimal. It's not ideal. So if you want to set your kids up for optimal health, particularly early on, and it's such a critical time when you've got that precious window when your child is young, to feed them well, feed them right, give them the most advantages. If you knowingly, we're going to say, well, if I feed him this way, he's going to lose 5 IQ points and he might be 2 inches shorter. No one would do that. But that's effectively what you're doing when you're feeding these kids all this ultra-processed garbage and this plant-based stuff, right? Focus on the high-quality, best nutrition there is. That's meat. That's
Provides no evidence for any of his claims. Just trust me, bro. CDG donatilers, will he fucking clear his damn throat? Hate when people talk with their voice raspy like that with phlegm in their throat. You fucking Neanderthal fucking bitch. I think that's just the way he sounds. Either that or his throat is just constantly filled with phlegm. Thanks for the donation though, CDG.
Total reversal of position by the American Academy of Dietetics and Nutrition.
We've already reacted to this, I think yesterday. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics did not reverse their position statement on whether or not vegan diets are safe for children. They're just doing separate analyses for adults and children, and they just ended up doing their first analysis for adults. That's it. So he's just lying.